Excellent. Okay. So consistency. It makes perfect sense that anytime we do something that's consistent, we're going to get the best results. Well, as I am coaching people and as I am helping people, I look back at some of my other presentations where I'm trying to articulate something. A lot of my podcasts where I talk about things that you do on the weekends where you don't document, even if it's well-deserved that you enjoy yourself, it's still inconsistent. With exercise, we tend to hit things really hard. And then when we burn out, we don't do anything at all. And then we have a really hard time getting back into it. That's inconsistent. With eating, we might do really, really good, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, all the way on till 3 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock, we stop logging. Again, inconsistent. But when we look back at everything in the big picture, we're doing a great job because we're still adhering to the program. We're still following a protocol. But that lack of consistency is enough to slow down your result. And so in the big picture, the message tonight is you could actually reevaluate what you're doing, your regimen, and let up on your restrictions as a whole. Look at what you're doing. Really hone down on all of your behaviors and create a less restrictive protocol for yourself and have it be more consistent, and you will get a better result. So it's hard to articulate this all, and hopefully it'll make sense after my presentation. But I once gave someone this example. I can't swim. I have tried. I have had coaches. I have failed miserably in 2 triathlons. John has heard the story.
No, I can't swim either, and I don't try.
Yeah, I have my wetsuit sitting in my closet there. I'm not going to give it up. But my point is this. If I were to attempt to go swimming, I know that if I were to go and I needed to swim from here across a large body of water, I could probably do it if I did it really, really slow, and I had vests and all kinds of safety devices to get me there. That would be my way of getting there. And yes, I would get there. But however, that wouldn't be good enough for me. And so therefore, I just don't do it. Same thing goes with dieting. A lot of times people don't want to do a protocol that isn't considered diet protocol because it'll take them too long, or it doesn't suit what our society considers diet or exercise. It's not conducive to this our world to just go to the gym twice a week. So therefore you just don't go to the gym at all, right? However, if I were to jump in the lake, as I am, and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in a month. I'm going to do this. What would happen? I would fail. I would just sink. And essentially that is what we do when we diet. We utterly and repeatedly stand in front of a lake that we know there is no way we're going to get across. And we attempt to do the impossible. So instead, being consistent, coming up with a regimen that is going to take you longer, even though it might not suit you. And furthermore, this is the hardest part, even though you're looking around and this person's getting in the water and they're making it all the way to the end, and this person's getting in the water and they're making it all the way to the end, and you're going, how come I can't do this? Well, again, Everybody is different. And when we diet, we compare. That's what we do. We look around and we compare why this person was able to lose 10 pounds in this much time, why this person has so much more energy, why this person has so much more willpower. And what we need to do is focus on just us and staying consistent so that we can get to where we need to be. Okay, so that's kind of the start of it. So keep that message in mind as I go through this this presentation. And I actually just got done broadcasting a podcast on this same topic. And the reason I'm telling you this is during the podcast, I did discuss way different topics than I'm going to tonight. So they're equally as informative, and there are some similarities, but yet you're going to find that there are also quite a few differences in the two. So don't feel that you shouldn't listen to the podcast if you are watching the presentation. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and get the show on the road here. All right, so consistency is key. And that really is the bottom line. In order to have anything work, you need to be consistent. And if you think about it, from parenting to disciplining your dog to growing a garden, consistency is key. All right, so objectives for tonight. I'm going to kind of talk about these four big things. One, knowing your body, understanding your body. Two, moderation. That goes right to my swim example. Moderation is essential. Three, no fads. And I'm going to kind of get into depth about that because I don't want you to think that I'm insinuating fad diets, as in, just the keto and the intermittent fasting. There's a lot more to that. And then everything consistent. So I'm going to kind of cover what I'm talking about when I'm referring to consistency. All right, so first off, know your body. Becoming in tune with your body is probably the most important thing that I could advise anyone to do. And anyone that's been in my program, anybody that has been coached by me, automatically becomes in tune with their body. And it's something that I instill. Having you weigh yourself every day, having you become aware of those fluctuations is one way that you become in tune with your body. When you started the program, you were probably very afraid of the scale, afraid of those fluctuations. And I know my clients very well. And I know most of you, in fact, all of you, if not, I shouldn't say all of you, but the majority of you understand now when the scale fluctuates that is not fat. And becoming in tune with your body is essential. And I'm not just talking about the fluctuations. I'm talking about the hydration. Most people, and I haven't really done a lot with hydration besides just really enforcing drinking water. But hydration goes a lot deeper than just helping you with weight loss. There are times where people will feel fatigued and it's just that they're dehydrated. There's times where people will have all different types of symptoms that they will blame all different sorts of other problems, but it's actually just dehydration. I had a gal a couple weeks ago that was feeling afternoon fatigue, and we nailed down that she was just dehydrated. If you think about it, if you are hospitalized for dehydration, you're going in there feeling just knocked out, fatigued. So if you're not in tune with your body, if you don't understand that you haven't had enough water, or you have had enough water, but you're dehydrated because of a different factor, you're not in tune with your body. Understanding your hunger, that's huge. There's a difference between hungry and wanting to eat. And that's a huge one. Whether it is a focal point that you set for yourself, am I hungry or do I just want to choose something? Now, those kind of go hand in hand, because if you are properly fed with the proper nutrients, you shouldn't be hungry. If you have had the right food, then having a bowl of pretzels in front of your face isn't going to entice you. And you can kind of play around with this, because automatically, if you are hungry, true hunger is going to stimulate your saliva glands to start salivating. So if you have had a full meal, and I challenge you to try this. Next time you've had a full meal after dinner tonight, wait about, I don't know, 30 minutes and look at something that looks delicious and tell me if your mouth starts watering. It probably won't. Now, if those of you that haven't had dinner yet, my mouth is watering just talking right now because it's dinner time. And so once you become in tune with your hunger, you will know, am I really hungry? Before I started this presentation, I was kind of like at that in between, should I eat, should I not? And I really wasn't feeling that hunger. So understanding that hunger is going to help you become more consistent, because if you're not knowing your hunger, you're just eating to eat. Your energy levels as well. Is your energy lacking because you haven't eaten? Is it lacking because you're dehydrated? Is it lacking because you haven't slept? Again, become in tune with your body. And then finally, cravings. This is a big one. Why are you craving food? Now, this again is kind of a higher level wellness question, because we all automatically say, well, I'm craving food because, it's that time of the month. I'm craving food because I always need chocolate after dinner. I'm craving because I need to have sweet and crunchy. I'm craving because I'm a stress eater. Buckle down on, are you craving these foods because you're restricting? Are you craving these foods because you're not allowing yourself to have some? What is the reason that you're craving? And know your limits. Understand where your limits are. Now, I'm going to share a little story. I ran to Jewel before I got here, and I've been gluten-free for 10 years now. I'm zipping through the aisles, and I come across these gluten-free Pop-Tarts. Well, these Pop-Tarts were like my just favorite. So my daughter's also gluten-free. I grabbed the Pop-Tarts, and I'm like, you know what? I have to just try one. Pop it open in the car, take a bite. I'm like, oh my God, are these good? Looked at okay, first of all, I should have brought one down here. They were this big. They were like not Pop-Tart size. They were like square size, 230 calories for this little teeny tiny Pop-Tart. And I'm like, all right, I burned 1 million calories today. I'm having surgery, Friday. I'm again, right away, I'm doing the excuses in the car, right? And I stopped right then and there, and I knew if I continued that I was eating it for the wrong reasons. So I stopped. I stopped at a half. Now, years ago, I would have kept eating it because, and I know I haven't shared this, 80% of people that start a candy bar or a cracker or open up something, 80% can't stop. It's a really hard thing. I used to have to throw it out the car window, but it's still in my car because I thought I'm going to use this as an emergency blood sugar, but the point is that we don't think. And then when we do think, we justify. And that is becoming in tune with your body. I knew I'm in tune with my body. I didn't need it. And I also bought myself some ice cream at Jewel. And I thought, I'm going to have the ice cream later. The calories were parallel. Knowing your limits, understanding your limits. Okay. All right. So next, respect your body. Eat happily. Choose healthily. Don't restrict, and know your boundaries. I spent a lot of years not eating happily. Listen to my podcast today, talked about how many years I spent eating cabbage soup. I mean, and I had myself convinced that I liked it, and it is good. You know, I mean, it is. I would eat it, but I wouldn't eat it for, 6 straight months like I used to. I had myself convinced that I liked it. Is it healthy? It is. But you know what? It was lacking protein. It was lacking healthy fat. It was low in calories, and it was restrictive. And where did it get me? It got me weight loss that slowed down my metabolism and ended up in weight gain. And so you want to make sure you are enjoying what you're eating. I say this all the time to people. Oh, so do you like tuna fish? People will say, it's okay. I'll eat it. I'll eat it. No, don't tell me that. If you don't like it, there's a million other things that we can find for you to eat. Don't choke it down because it's on the diet. Now, if we can get you to like it because we doctor it up, like we doctored up the Greek yogurt, and now you could truly tell me that you love it and you want it, that's different. But don't sit there and choke it down. You're not respecting your body. That's temporary, and that is not going to take you to the long haul, because you are, in a sense, restricting. And in understanding your boundaries, the reason I put that there is when you're sitting there going, this is good, but can I do this for the rest of my life? No. Then you're not respecting your body. And that's going to come down to an inconsistent regimen. So first thing, moderation, your food mantra. Weight loss isn't linear. What I mean by that is when we lose weight, we assume that weight loss should be straight down. And that weight loss is bumpy going down, right? But in addition to that, when we lose weight, our emotions are also very high, then low, high, then low. I'm looking at people that are here, and actually one of them just nodded. It literally goes like this. I love this diet. It's the best. It's the best. This really sucks. I really hate this. Oh my God, I love this. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I don't think I can do this anymore. It sucks. I am on this high right now. Look at my biceps. This is awesome. This really sucks. I wish I could eat a cheeseburger. You get it? That's normal. That's normal. That doesn't mean you're not consistent. That's normal. We could apply that to everything. We could apply that to our jobs. We could apply that to our children. We could apply that to our spouses. That doesn't mean that we want to get rid of that. And that's the misinterpretation. We right away, as soon as something goes bad with dieting, we kick it right out the window. And we shouldn't. We need to understand that we're going to have those highs and those lows. And we need to ride it out. In order for you to have sustainability and consistency, you do need to have balanced nutrients, and you do need to fulfill your hunger. Now, was my cabbage soup fulfilling my hunger? Yeah, for an hour. It had cabbage in it. It had, carrots and whatever else is in there. But was it truly nurturing me? And we do that a lot. We eat the salads, we eat the low cal, but it's not fueling you. And so that is creating a problem, because food is fuel. And this diet world has really turned into a kind of warped sense, because we think less is more. I had a gal today who I'm coaching that is doing amazing, but she cannot log. We've had 3 straight weeks in a row where the goal was to log, and she's been with me for years. She can't log, and we figured out why. She doesn't want to log because when she logs and she sees her calories at the end of the day, it freaks her out. And seeing those calories give her anxiety. You want to know what her caloric intake is for the day? 1,400. So when she sees 1,400, that gives her anxiety, because she's been programmed, like the rest of us, many of us, that 1,200 is what you should have and 14 is too much. Yet she knows, and she's been successful, and realizes that 12's too little. But we have to break away from that, because it's not just about the calories, it's about how you're feeling. And so this is all about the moderation. Understanding essentials. Carbs and fat aren't bad. They're not bad. It's knowing your plate and focusing on the quantity and the quality. I ate 3 avocados yesterday. I mean, they were the littler ones, like, the size, but I mean, I think I went 20 years without eating an avocado. I thought they were fat. I thought they were bad. And here I sit at 52 years old, in the best shape of my life. My metabolism is the fastest it's ever been. I ate 3 avocados yesterday. But I also, back in my earlier years, was eating cabbage soup and then, sneaking Tootsie Rolls at night because I was not satisfied. So, that's the difference. So focus on the quantity, and that will establish a more consistent regimen. Okay, so moderation. Let's talk about this. Eat to satisfy, always. Many levels on this. So let's talk about this. Satisfy your hunger, always. Because, if you're hungry, you need to satisfy your hunger. Sometimes when we diet, we eat to eat. We don't really satisfy that hunger. We satisfy that urge to eat. You want to fulfill the following: your hunger, you want to make sure you're fueled, and you want to soothe your cravings. So what I mean by that is be selective on what you're eating. If you feel like having a crunch, then have a crunch. If you feel like having something savory, then incorporate that. You have enough freedom with your food selections to fuel, satisfy your hunger, and satisfy your cravings. Now, if you're sitting there going, well, I really want a gooey chocolate hot fudge sundae, then we have to renegotiate what your priorities are, because we're talking about your actual meal. Every time you eat, your mission is fulfill your hunger, your fuel, and your cravings. So often we eat for emotion. And this is a huge, complicated issue. And it is something that we can learn to avoid. If you are eating for emotion, if you are grabbing at food because you're angry or stressed or tired or bored or lonely, you have to learn to only go to food when you are hungry, when you need fuel, or when you're craving something. And once you learn how to do that, it really is a beautiful thing. And again, because this is a very complicated topic, I will tell you to watch my emotional eating webinar, because I get into how to avoid those things. Secondly, don't eliminate. There's a difference between eliminating and moderating. Okay, there's a huge difference. When I tell you that you should reduce the amount of fat, watch the amount of carbs, and modify, that's different. When I say people eliminate, that means they're taking it out. So you shouldn't take out fats, you shouldn't take out carbs, and you shouldn't take out whole food groups. And we see this all the time. People will decide, well, I'm going to take out meats because I think that's going to, make me skinnier faster. I'm going to take out dairy. I'm going to take out gluten. I'm going to take out, if you want to take out a food group, take out sweets. That's going to be the only one, because the other ones are really very, very well versed with the nutrients that you need. Now, if you have a true intolerance or an allergy, that's one thing. And I discussed this in my podcast today, there's a lot of food intolerance tests out there. And I mentioned that I am getting my my certificate in functional diagnostic nutrition, and I'm learning all about these food intolerances and leaky gut and all sorts of things. And there's also a very fine line on how these tests are testing you for these intolerances. If you take a test and it tells you that you are intolerant to egg whites, and you're intolerant to you know, eggplant and apples and walnuts, that doesn't mean that you can't have it. That just might mean that it might cause some inflammation. It might cause you know, some digestive enzymes to, you know, create some havoc in your body, but that doesn't mean that it is happening. And so what you should do is watch, not necessarily eliminate. I took one of those tests and it showed me all kinds of things, none of which I've noticed any allergies to. The one thing that I break out, my mouth breaks out crazy when I eat walnuts, didn't even come up on the test. So, you know, you have to take those with a grain of salt, and listen to your body, respect your body. If you really do feel funky because you're eating a lot of dairy, then take the dairy out and see how that is. But it's not going to get you losing weight any faster. In fact, it's going to complicate things because it's going to create the inability to be consistent. Okay. And then finally, know your plate. And this is super important. First, nutrition. That's the ultimate. Second, portions. Third, proportions. And that is simply said. So the very first thing that should be on your plate is how nutritious is it? If you're eating a bunch of, you know, lettuce in a bowl, you know, that's not very nutritious. Second, what are the portions like? I've said this time and time again. If you're going to the ballpark and there are no choices there and you are forced to eat a hot dog, but you kind of want a hot dog because you haven't had one in a while, eat the hot dog. A hot dog is 330 calories. Is it really nutritious? You know, oops, not really, but you don't have any other options. My point in saying this is watch your portions. Eat the hot dog, don't eat 3 hot dogs. Eat the hot dog, don't eat the hot dog and the cheesecake. Watch your portions. And then thirdly, proportions. If you have the opportunity to watch your proportions, that's when you want to look and say, well, I have my protein. I'm not going to just eat protein. Pasta. And Tina, we talked, Tana, we talked about this today. I'm not going to just eat pasta. I want pasta. I'm going to have pasta. I'm going to have chicken, and I'm going to have some healthy fat with that. Proportion. So it's not about calories, and you guys know that. I've talked about that on and on and on. It is not just about the calories. Okay. All right. The framework: consistency in dieting and weight loss means any diet will work, and this is true. Of course, I feel that my diet, my program, is pretty top notch, but any diet will work. Even the ones that I think are crummy. Pull anyone off the internet, it will work. There was a professor, I believe, from the University of Kentucky that was trying to prove the point that any diet will work. He put himself on the Twinkie diet. All he ate was Twinkies for, I think, a month. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's all he ate was Twinkies. He lost weight. Do you know why? He was consistent. It's true. So this is why intermittent fasting works. It's consistent. This is why keto works. It's consistent. If you are consistent, it will work. The problem is fad diets aren't practical. So could you eat Twinkies for the rest of your life? No. Anne-Marie, were you nodding your head? I wouldn't mind having a gluten-free Twinkie if they had them. And they're not sustainable. You know, I did Atkins after my 20-year-old was born, and it was awesome. I melted away. but I took one bite of watermelon the next summer and I blew up. I was like, because I took a taste of that watermelon and I was like, whoa, I cannot live without this, so they're just not sustainable. It works, not sustainable. So the consistency is key, but you also have to find something that you can sustain. And that's the framework. So what does this mean? I was laughing so hard when I made this slide. This is the lifeline of a dieter, okay? And if you haven't heard my podcast on the lifeline of the dieter, it's probably one of my favorite. It's on my Get You Fit radio. Month one, and this goes with any diet. Month one, everything's great. You're so excited. You'll do anything. Month two, you're seeing results. You're starting to have to push though. That euphoria is kind of worn off, but you're seeing results, so you're pushing through it. Month three, you're starting to doubt yourself, but you're not quitting because you have committed, you've told people, you've invested money, you've invested yourself, you're not quitting. Month four, this is the famous month four, the slippery slope of month four. You suddenly don't become as consistent. But yet at month four, many people don't realize that they're not being consistent. This is where I say the pseudo dieting comes in, where you think you're on a diet, but you're not. And this happens all the time. You wake up in the morning, you get on that scale, you don't really see a change, don't really know why. You eat your breakfast, you go to the gym, eat your lunch, but then there's some almonds, take a couple bites of almonds, you didn't log them, then you stop off for coffee, you're like, you know what, it's not going to matter, it's only a couple hundred calories. You go through the motions, then you stop logging at dinner because you're like, I eat the same thing anyways. Boom, you're not as consistent right then and there. It just broke right there. But you think you're doing everything right because you had your oatmeal for breakfast and you weighed yourself and you reported to me and you did not get the regular sugar in your coffee. You made sure it was sugar free and you still said no to the donuts at work, and right. But there's so many missing pieces. You're not consistent. And so now at month five, progress has really slowed down. And you truly don't know why, but it's the handful of almonds. I just had a couple handfuls of popcorn when we went out for the movies. And no, I forgot to log that. No, don't look at that day, Irene. Don't look at that day. No, don't look at that day. Don't look at that day. And that's all fine, but it still counts. And so now progress has slowed down. And the consistency is definitely not there, for sure. It is not like month one. And so now we're at month 6 and there is no consistency, there's no progress, and you have completely lost hope. And at this point you've quit. And this is where I say tier 2 is such a point where if people don't go to 2, I usually lose people because they quit. And I had a gal today who I asked her to do the call because I felt her sliding. And I'm like, you are at month 6, aren't you? And she goes, I don't know. And she counted, she goes, yeah. And it was exactly this. And it's just normal. It wasn't her. And you guys that are listening are probably like, yep, this is me. So how do you snap out of this? You have to go back to all the slides. Know your body, respect your body, understand what you're doing. Don't take things out. These are all that example of getting in that lake and trying to swim when you don't know how to swim. Let up on the strictness of what you're trying to do, because if you are being too strict, you're not going to be able to maintain. Okay, so moving on here, the framework of your mind. When you are at this month 6, and this happens all the time. I know it happened to me. Your focus is the diet didn't work. Your focus is not on the issue. The issue is that you weren't consistent. But your focus is this didn't work. This didn't work. I can't do this. I suck. This didn't work. Not how can I fix this? What things can I do to fix this? You're also focused on why it worked for others. Now, I want to go back and talk about the fad diets. Now, there are plenty of people that have done well with intermittent fasting and with keto and with all those things. And everybody is different. And there might be some people that can sustain living a lifelong wellness routine of eating that way. Furthermore, there might be people in our program sitting right next to you, or your very best friend that got you to sign up for this, who can sustain a regimen that is stricter than you. And they can be more consistent on a regimen that's stricter than you. Just because it worked for them doesn't mean it could work for you. That's me standing there, fit as a fiddle. I mean, I could run 100 miles. I can't swim 2 feet. So the girl standing next to me that is getting in the water is gonna race to that end, and I'm gonna drown because it worked for her, not for me. She can do it, I can't. Do you see the difference? So you have to only focus on you and what you can sustain. And you're only going to get stronger as you go through this process. Does that make sense? And truly the last one, the focus should be on the the focus is on the adherence, not the inconsistency. So when we start to fail, all we do is we remember everything we did right. But you know, I weighed my breakfast every day, and I logged, and I worked out 5 days a week, and I did this right, and I did this right, and I did this right. But we forget all the things that we started to do that were becoming the issue. And you know, that's normal behavior. You know, it's like fighting with your spouse. You know, you only remember what was in your favor. You know, you don't remember what was in their favor. So that's a really, really hard thing. So how do you fix this? How can you be aware of the issues? How can you be aware of what's going to work for you? And how could you be aware of the problems that are inconsistent? Now, I hope to God you guys know this answer before I even say it. There's only one way, and that's analysis. First off, you have to be consistent 100% of the time. Now, I want to be clear. This does not mean that you can't go out and party on the weekends, and you can't have your cheeseburgers occasionally on Wednesday nights and your girls' nights out and your vacations. But what I'm saying is, in the big picture, consistent. You shouldn't have 3 good days and then 1 just off day because you had a bad day. Just then 5 good days and then 1 bad day. Or you shouldn't eat perfect every single day until, you know, that glass of wine, cheese and crackers at night. Because, you know, that's inconsistent. You also shouldn't work out like a beast 6 days a week for a straight month and beat yourself up so hard that you resent the gym, and then you don't go back for 6 weeks until you start feeling like jello, and then you go back for hitting it hard again for 5 straight months. You know, find that happy medium. There's nothing wrong with working out 12 minutes a day instead of an hour a day. If you do the 12 minutes a day every day for a year, you're going to get way more benefits than working out an hour here and there. Okay. And then obviously data and documentation. Nothing speaks louder than seeing your behaviors. And what I mean by that is not necessarily logging. Of course, logging is always going to help. But if you simply just took a calendar and put an X over which days you did not have complete follow through with, which days you considered not consistent, you'd be shocked at how many days would be shaded in. And that would say it all. That would say it all. Which days did you stop logging? No data. Which days did you so? That would speak, because it's uncharted territory. And this part hurts, because we don't really want to face it when we're working so hard, but then we're spinning our wheels. You're just spinning your wheels, complaining to the world that you're just not doing anything, working so hard, nothing's happening. Get off the stationary bike. You're spinning, not making any progress. Put your bike on the road and see what's really happening and go somewhere. And this is truly the hardest part about being a coach, is getting people to see the truth and realize that they can help themselves by seeing what their shortcomings are. All right, so results. Logging part of the day. This is a huge one. People oftentimes will stop at dinner, and I've heard all the excuses, and I'm not going to review them all, because they're all, they're legitimate excuses, but when there's a will, there's a way. Following the program just during the week, not on the weekends, that's another inconsistent behavior. And then getting frustrated and needing to take a break. That's another one. Now, these are all valid. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but these are things that you need to watch and correct. So if you're somebody that is logging just part of the day, don't live your life by saying, well, I'm just one of those people that just, I can't log past 3, because then you're spinning your wheels. If you're somebody that enjoys the weekends, you can keep enjoying them, but know your boundaries. And if you're somebody that gets frustrated and needs to take that break, you can do that. But again, know your boundaries, because you're creating inconsistency and you're making excuses for it. And I have had people all the time say to me, but you know what, I've been just really stressed, and it's the end of the school year, and I needed to take a break. That's fine. But that's creating this inconsistency that is going to be never ending, and you're never going to get there. And so we can let you take a break, but create a boundary when you do that, because now we've created this segue to this ongoing excuse that every time there's stress, you're going to have a uncharted eating extravaganza, and so being consistent is going to be a lot more conducive to your results. All right, so consistent eating. And this is a huge message. I'm actually going to schedule a webinar on this topic after my surgery. Consistent eating also means small, frequent meals. And this is something that I've always pushed for. But my research in my new class, I've learned the science behind it, and it's actually very intriguing, and it makes perfect sense, and it lines up to everything that I've always believed. But looking at this wheel here, when you're eating small, frequent meals, that wheel is always turning, because you're always being fed. Okay. Now, what happens when you eat? You have your food intake, and your body digests it. Okay. When your body digests it, it breaks it down, it puts it here, puts it there. This usually takes about 2 to 3 hours. Okay. During this time, your body is digesting and burning calories. When this whole process is done, it's time to eat again. So this takes about 3 hours. If your meal is the right size, okay, if you're going to eat some monster meal, obviously it's going to take you a lot longer. So small, frequent meals, you've eaten, it's breaking down, digest, ding, 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 it's time to eat again. Okay. Now I want you to look at this. This is exactly the same thing. A fire is burning, okay? When the fire starts to flicker down, you're gonna add some logs to it, right? Just a few logs. Because if you add 1,000 logs to this fire, what's gonna happen? Fire's gonna go out. So you just wanna add a couple logs. So same as eating a small meal. What happens when you add a couple logs? More flames. So 3 hours later, flames start going down. You add more logs, flame ignites. So in this case, you're in constant calorie burn, constant. That flame's never going out. Now, what we do in our world is we skip meals and that flame goes out, and then we douse it with these huge meals. So now we have all these logs to burn, and it takes our body all this time to digest it. And we can't digest these huge monster meals at once. And now we have a problem because we want to eat again in 3 hours or 4 hours, but we have all this food still that's undigested. Do you see that? And so now we have this overflow, which turns to fat, which turns to digestive issues, which turns to all kinds of stomach problems and obviously weight issues. So if you keep your meals small and frequent, just like this fire, you're going to always be burning calories. And as soon as that flame flickers out, if you're in tune with your body, you're going to know, I'm hungry. Keep those meals small, fire will keep burning. And truly, you've heard me say this. This here is why teenage boys have a fast metabolism. They are in tune with their bodies. They understand exactly what they need to eat, and they just know to keep the flame always burning. So that is consistency. So questions?
No questions. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I know I make every appearance.
I knew you would.
Yes, things are settling down. We just got back from vacation and I feel awful, but I feel my best with the consistency and the documentation and like being able to say I'm following the program and I'm ready. Now I'm really ready.
It's still working?
Nope, that's it.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
Awesome.
getting my stuff together. I guess my question would be, where do I start? Do I start from the beginning? Like, because I want to say the first 3 months, even the 4th month, I did really good. When we started getting into the macros, I never watched those videos. Like I'm not, I can go back and see if I can find the video that talks about macro.
Text me and I'll set you up with a good regimen.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And yeah, I'll set you up. Text me.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Welcome back.
I just got back today from vacation.
Oh, awesome.
So I was like, I need
cool.
to hear all of this. I need to
Yes.
be accountable.
This was a good one to start with for sure.
But it's all the refreshers of the things I already knew, and it just drives me crazy how easy it is to fall off the bandwagon, when I know everything I need to do, it's worked before, and like, how do I get myself to this place, so
I know.
I am so scared to get on the scale.
No, get on the scale. Face the music. It won't be as bad.
Yeah.
It won't be bad. Go get on the scale now and report back to all of us. We want to hear. Just kidding.
But I know. I said I just got back from vacation. I'm still on vacation right now. I'm like, I'm going out with a hurrah. Like my last.
Oh
hurrah.
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, then wait tomorrow.
Yes.
But I do want to schedule another comfort cafe, just to kind of talk about, all these things, because it's true. We all know these things, and to put it out there, and I know a lot of you closely just through the years. I am not sitting here saying that I am, following exactly everything that I preach. I have gotten a lot better, but there are many times where I do the same thing, where I'm just like, how am I so consistent during the day? But then at night, I'm, eating a sleeve of Oreos. Like, how does that happen? In fact, when I bought those Pop-Tarts today, I thought I put them upstairs, like in the shark room, because I know the kids will just devour them before I even get upstairs. I'm like, here, because I know as consistent as I am during the day, as regimented, look at me, I'm just gonna eat half. Later, I'll eat the whole box. That happens to all of us. But having the self-talk and understanding that it does matter, and in the big picture, it does count, really does make a difference. And I've had many conversations with myself where you do have to step back and say, this is going to matter. This is going to count. Because when we get into that slippery slope of not seeing results anymore, we rationalize with ourselves and we start doing the whole, well, it's not working for me. It's my hormones. It's my metabolism. I didn't get enough sleep, so I can't, but we're not looking at all of the inconsistent things that we've done. You know what I mean? So it is a very, very hard thing. Definitely. So, other questions, comments?
Just wish you well on your surgery.
Thank you.
I've been trying, I was disconnected. I was out in the woods. So
Yeah.
then I got the newsletter and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
So,
it's all good. Yeah. So I'm actually, I'm a big mindset person, so I'm looking forward to it.
You're amazing. Like you make it sound, and you're still putting out videos like nothing, Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
not nothing, but for us, it's like, oh, there's another video,
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually funny, I had the insurance, it wasn't fully approved yet. So I'm like, listen, if I am gonna get myself worked up about this thing is gonna go through. So I pulled all kinds of strings and I was like, get this thing approved. So she called just today and she said it's approved. And I went, yay, surgery. She was laughing. I mean, what would be worse than having them call me on Thursday to tell me it's not
Yeah.
happening, right? So yeah, so it's happening and it'll be good. So 2 weeks in a collar, so I'll be sporting the but it'll be good. So anyways, all right, you guys, well, thank you. And
Thank you, Irene.
text me for sure, and
Yes.
I will talk to you guys all good. And John, enjoy your trip.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Don't do what I did. I'm just kidding.
All right, we'll talk to you
Just a few beers.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.